Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Ryan with the Indie Music Academy, and I'm so happy to have our special guest today, Tobias from FanbasePRO. If you're joining us live, drop a hello in the chat and let me know where you're tuning in from. I love hearing where our global audience is based. I see Randy is with us today. Drop a hello if you're tuning in. But I'm so excited to talk with Tobias today because he is all about growing your music fan base. I'll read his bio really quick, and then we will dive into your questions about fan base growth today. But if you've never met Tobias before, he's a solo acoustic guitarist, music marketing specialist, and the founder of FanbasePRO, a music marketing mentor program. He's worked in the music industry at Warner Music, then focused on promoting his own music, generating over 500,000 fans across his channels, racking over 50 million views on his music videos. Tobias successfully made a full-time living as an independent musician, receiving endorsements from some of the industry's biggest brands and traveling the world to perform his shows. Now, he's made it his mission to teach his music marketing and monetization strategies and guide fellow independent musicians. And that's why he's here with us today. Thank you so much, Tobias, for being here.
Thanks for having me, Ryan. Great to talk to you again.
So good to talk with you again. No, so people might not have heard of you before. That's pretty normal on the internet. Can you just give us a little bit of your background? Tell us a bit of why you started FanbasePRO, just to catch anyone up who's new to you.
Sure. Yeah, basically my journey started after my studies. I started to work in the music industry in Germany at Warner Music, where I helped to promote some big shot artists. And I also learned how smaller newcomers are promoted in comparison. But then I noticed that corporate isn't really for me. And I really wanted to go all in on my own music and use the skills and knowledge I've learned over there to focus on my own music career. And I have to say, I can't even sing. So I'm just a solo percussive fingerstyle guitarist. So I can smack my guitar. So it's like, it's called solo or modern percussive fingerstyle.
Yeah.
And so I basically went all in on it. And I mainly focused on my YouTube channel back then because there's kind of a visual art of playing as well. And studied everything I can learn about music marketing. And then, as you said, I had some success in the music industry with my music, travel like even in China, in the US, in Taiwan, in Singapore, and all that stuff. And at some point, then people, of course, approached me and asked me, how I did it and all that stuff. And then I slowly transitioned into, helping other artists as well with music marketing and business when it comes to artists, for example, that set up their own piano academy, guitar academies, and all that stuff. So everything in the online marketing realm, so to say.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I've seen your YouTube channel and your videos. You're a very talented guitarist.
Thank you.
And so if any of you viewing today haven't heard him play, you've got to check out what he's talking about because it's incredibly virtuosic. And of course, this led to your fan base, your musical fan base, growing to massive sizes. And you've learned a lot along the way as an instrumental artist, as a writer as well. Tell us about what you've learned on your journey about massive fan base growth. And we're talking hundreds of thousands of subscribers, millions of views as a musician. Tell us a little bit about what you've learned. What's the secret, to be cliche? Right? What's the secret that you've learned?
If there would be any real secrets, that would be nice. But in the end, to be honest, it comes all down to music, to marketing, online marketing in general. So there are no shortcuts. There are strategies and methods that you can leverage. But first of all, it's really important that you find your kind of your niche, where you belong to. So you have to carve your little space within your niche, or niche, that you stand out. So for example, I focus on the guitar market. In the beginning, by the way, I started to play the electric guitar, but then just focused on the acoustic. So the acoustic market, which is already a sub-market, and then just on solo percussive fingerstyle, which is even a smaller sub-niche of this. But so it's pretty much like being a big fish in a small pond rather than being a small fish in a big pond. So it's much easier for newcoming artists or newcomers to basically stand out if they focus on a smaller sub-market. And
Mhm.
just easier then to compete with a big stars over there, especially in the beginning, and then you can grow there. And of course, select your channel. A mistake I see often musicians make is to focus on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, and be all over the place everywhere. But it's so paramount to focus on one channel that's a good fit for your audience, and then go all in on that channel. And for me, that was YouTube. And the beauty of YouTube is that YouTube like works hand in hand with us musicians. They not only share the revenue, but as you know, they only suggest your videos to people who are likely to like your music. For example, on Instagram, TikTok, you always have to constantly post your music day in, day out, 8 times per day. And on YouTube, it's like I uploaded 3 videos per year. And even right now, while we're talking, like people are watching my video that I've uploaded like 10 years ago. And this is the power of YouTube. So you launch once, and then YouTube like constantly promotes your music to the right people. In my case, to people who are guitar lovers, who like modern fingerstyle. And this is such a powerhouse. And so YouTube basically promotes me 24/7, pretty much on autopilot. Of course, you have to optimize your videos. You need to learn about click-through rate strategies and all that stuff. But then YouTube keeps promoting your videos for you. And then if you combine this with smart advertising strategies, as you know, because these are really some, there are some killer strategies and ways to really grow your famous as well nowadays, with like just spending a few bucks per day. And if you combine that, so strong organic growth combined with smart advertising, I mean, then people will hear your music, find out about you. And that's what every business is doing out there. Like whether you're a watch manufacturer or you're selling iPhone cases or whatsoever, it's all about online marketing and getting the word out, getting your brand out, and getting people to, learn about you.
That makes a lot of sense. And especially when you're talking about the longevity of the content. I know that's a huge frustration that artists have, is that they have to dance on TikTok like 12 times a day. You know, if you post on Instagram, that post really isn't getting fed 24 hours later. And then 2 days later, it's basically just archived on your profile. Whereas you're saying YouTube has a better recommendation engine for musicians that lasts years instead of just hours.
Yes.
So is that okay? That's all true. So that can help you to go viral, right? In an organic context, right?
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about how strategies on how to go viral and how that's different across all the platforms, because I'm sure that a lot of musicians watching, they're trying to decide where to put their effort, right? Because you can go viral on Instagram, you can go viral on TikTok, and going viral on YouTube is you're not going to get the same benefit growing viral from platform to platform. So tell us a little bit about that. I'd love to know if you have any tricks to share with our audience. But yeah, tell us about just the longevity of the content, how to get those views.
Yeah, so first of all, it's really important to understand let's say the key metrics on YouTube, because the thing is, once you upload a video on YouTube, the algorithm is like watching it closely and is measuring the data that gets in. So let's say you upload a video that's 5 minutes long and people jump off or leave your video after 30 seconds. So this sends a pretty negative signal to YouTube's algorithm, telling basically the algorithm, hey, this video is not good because people leave it after 30 seconds, okay? So you have a low audience retention and of course a low watch time. And the key metric is a long watch time. So because you have to understand that, of course, YouTube makes money by showing ads to people. And so the longer people stay on the platform, the more ads they view, thus the more money YouTube and you as a creator make. Okay. And so if you help YouTube to achieve this goal, to keep people longer on the platform, then YouTube will promote your videos for you and of course share the revenue with you. So you have to focus on videos that have a long watch time, so that are kind of engaging. And it's also, so that is really one of the key factors. And of course, you need to have a good click-through rate. So what does that mean? Like, for example, if you go to your YouTube homepage right now, you will probably see 10, 20 video recommendations. And now, which video are you clicking on and why? usually because of the thumbnail or the title. And out of these 10 or 20 videos, the video you clicked on has won the click. Okay, so that's really important. It's an auction, and you kind of have to win the click with your thumbnail and your basically the video title. And for example, huge YouTubers like Mr. Beast, they spend up to $10,000 per thumbnail just to split test to see how it is. And what we do as well, we split test YouTube thumbnails with Facebook ads to see which thumbnail has the highest click-through rate, to use it then, because only if we win the click, people have a chance to watch the content. So even if we have the greatest video, if we don't win the click and another cat video wins our click, people won't see it, and so we won't get a long watch time pretty much. So this is really important. So get the click, win the click, and then have a video that's entertaining. Within the first 5 to 8 seconds, usually you have to have a hook, you know. Don't have long intros that are like a minute long or 30 seconds long. It can work for established artists, but if you're a newcomer, people don't know you, catch them right away. Have jump cuts in the video, create some kind of emotion. That's really important, but that's just basically some fundamentals. And the key is, in order to have viral videos, is of course when you have a long watch time, and ideally when people even save it or share it, because that's a great signal basically to the algorithm. So there is this kind of viral formula. So your videos needs to be clickable and shareable. That equals viral videos. So that's really important. And yeah, so that's that's the foundation of going viral on YouTube. And one really important thing is to try to focus on getting a wow factor, okay? Because people only share your content or stick to it if if you have some kind of mechanism in your videos that makes them like, wow, I need to share this with my friends. This is amazing, or I need to watch the video to the end. So focus on something emotional. It can be even sad, it can be funny, or ideally, when it comes to musicians like us, be remarkable. This is usually when people are like for example, my guitar videos, sometimes I play the guitar from the other side, so it's over the top and stuff like this, and people are two-hand tapping, complicated techniques, and people are like, what is that guy playing on the guitar? And so this is stuff that kind of goes viral. Or think about creative ways to trigger this curiosity or this wow effect. For example, let's say you are a jazz band. I don't know, maybe take a metalcore or a metal song from Metallica and make a jazz version out of it. Make something people are kind of surprised by, or let's say Ed Sheeran releases a new single, take this one, maybe make an acoustic version or a metal version or a jazz version or a classical version out of this, because then you surf the wave. People are already searching for that, and you kind of get on your surfboard and try to get a piece of this traffic as well. So there are many, many strategies to go viral, but this is some kind of the foundation here.
Yeah, that all makes a lot of sense. And it seems to me that you have to understand that as an artist, that putting out content that actually is attractive to a viewer, when they have a menu of videos that they could potentially click on YouTube, it doesn't matter the platform. When you're scrolling through Instagram and you have literally unlimited choice, right? You can either watch or you can just keep scrolling to the next one, right? It's not really about like, I want to share my music. It's more about finding the overlap of what can I create that's really going to interest someone in a sea of options. And the idea for the video seems to be the most important part, as you said towards the end, right? Finding a unique angle, finding an interesting mashup of a popular song, maybe doing it in your own way. What would you say to someone who is like, I just want to release my songs. I just want my songs to get out there. I don't want to do covers, or I don't want to make content. I just want to get my art out there. Is there a strategy for that, or is that a little out of touch in this modern music industry where content is such a driver of views?
Yeah.
What would you say to maybe someone like me who's a little more old-fashioned?
No, it's absolutely, I can absolutely understand this. And a lot of artists don't want to do fancy stuff or create a wow effect. They just want to get their music out. First of all, I would say that's totally fine, but don't necessarily expect that it works nowadays, because we are living in an attention economy. So like its cute cat is a direct competitor to your music, because people might click on the dog or the cat videos or whatsoever. So it's more difficult. And so I would say, if you really want to achieve growth and success, try to have some kind of growth strategies in place. I mean, even Justin Bieber used to the cover strategy to become famous and then introduce his music. Or a good friend of mine, guitarist Alexander Misko, by the way, he's an amazing fingerstyle guitarist with, I think, over 700 million views. He's killing it. And he's playing fingerstyle covers of movie themes like Pirates of the Caribbean or famous songs and all that stuff. And this is working so well. And we met in Berlin sometime, and he was like, oh man, I hate it so much. People just want to get my cover versions, but I want to get my own music out there. And it's like a trade-off. But like all his cover versions rack up so much more views than his originals. But due to or through his cover videos, his original videos get a major boost as well. And so it's a strategic decision. But let's say if you say, I just don't want to create any content that's basically there to get clicks, there are of course strategies as well. First of all, boost your uploads with paid ads, YouTube ads, for example, to get really the initial push. Because the thing is, let's say you're an artist without a lot of subscribers, now there is this kind of thing that the algorithm doesn't have enough data. Let's say you have 200 subscribers, you upload a video, it gets 80 views. So 80 views is not nearly enough for the algorithm to analyze your song and really say, okay, this video has a good watch time, a good audience retention, because it's just like not enough data. So I would recommend to go to at least a couple of thousand views, because then the algorithm has more data. So use paid advertising and that's basically what all the labels do. They push the content so that you give it a jump start basically out there, and then you will gather enough data. And then you can see if your new release is successful or not. And of course, use your other channels as well to push it. So when you release a video, of course, leverage your email list, announce the launch, promote it, go live on Instagram or your TikTok, on your other channels, let your audience know about that your video is launched. So really create a launch, like a movie launch, let people know about it days in advance, share some snippets, some behind the scenes stuff, make them really curious. And then they all watch the videos, ideally within the first 48 hours, because this time frame is really significant. Sometimes we even take down videos, for example, from artists who didn't launch in a good way. They just uploaded the video, it's not performing well, and we had great success by just basically killing the video, taking it down and relaunching it again. We did this with Glass Pop, really nice band. They uploaded a video, I think it's called Perfect Illusion. It didn't work at all. Then we worked together, we took it down, we optimized it correctly, and then launched it. And I think it got over 50,000 views within the first month. And before that, it was just a couple of hundred views. So there are strategies that I would recommend. And you can see these like viral strategies as a different option to get more views. But of course, you can naturally promote your music without focusing on going viral and all that stuff as well. Sure.
Yeah, that's actually really awesome to hear. And by the way, if you're tuning in, we are going to do Q&A time in a few minutes. So start getting those questions in the chat. We're going to respond to your exact questions on YouTube, on content creation, on viral strategies, which brings me, I wanted to follow up because it seems that there are ways to take your original music, videos and kind of optimize them for those signals that you were talking about, signaling to YouTube that people enjoy the content, such as click-through rate, watch time, right? And so there are ways to just create an original piece of art that's not necessarily a cover song, not necessarily a mashup. It could be your original music, but you still need to create something compelling for the viewer. Is that what I'm hearing? And if you're going to go, I guess I would call it the pure route, right? Never doing a cover, right? Never doing a mashup, not necessarily focusing on the more kind of content pieces, but focusing on your original pieces, your original songs. You still need to put a little bit of effort into optimization. Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh, absolutely. Like the worst thing you can do is just upload the video as it is, or use tags like your hometown, or the name of the videographer. It's like, dude, these tags are there for a reason. The description is there for a reason. You have to know your competitors or similar artists, what kind of tags and are they using, because it's a little bit about SEO as well, because YouTube is kind of the second biggest search engine next to Google. So it's definitely important to optimize your video, not just the thumbnail and the title, but it's, this is really crucial. And to see when is your audience online. So just don't launch it randomly. Inside your analytics dashboard, you find as well when your audience is pretty much most active. Launch your video during these times. Have a proper launch plan. Like I said, at least 3 days in advance, you should start with your video promotion. And we had a really successful launch with electronic trio Klangphonics. By the way, really amazing band. They go viral really often. They have amazing videos. So they really leverage this. But this as well, we really planned the launch, I think, over a week in advance, what they shared before it. Then we launched it and we had I'm not quite sure, over 100,000 views within the first 1 or 2 days, or even over 200,000. I'm not quite sure, but it's really successful. And we used a combination of organic measures and as well a little bit paid ads to boost it and reach more of the audience and all that stuff. But there are many strategies and optimization techniques that you should do. So never just launch into the blue.
Yeah, and it's comforting to hear that even if you do launch a music video, maybe unoptimized, maybe there are even videos listeners have uploaded earlier this year, and now they're learning that optimization is a requirement. It's comforting to understand that you can pull those videos down.
Yeah. I would
fix them in the edit, right? Because you're talking about re-editing the video. Right?
Not necessarily, but possibly re-editing. Sometimes it's enough to just re-upload it, the same video, but with optimized tags, optimized thumbnail, optimized title, optimized description, optimized launch plan, and all that stuff. So this can go a long, long way. So really just optimize it. But for example, let's say you have a boring intro and you can see in your analytics the audience retention, where people drop off and all that stuff, and then you might see, hey, the intro is kind of boring, the first 15 seconds are kind of, people are clicking on the next cat video, they check out what's in the recommended side column and they click on the next video, and you leave you with a low audience retention, a low watch time, and a negative ranking signal for YouTube. So then it makes sense to edit the video, cut out the intro, for example, maybe include some jump cuts or something like this. But also one thing that I want to say, like, if you have really amazing content that's really shareable, you can even upload a shitty video that's unoptimized. That's the beauty of YouTube, because if it measures that the watch time is really like, I don't know, long, and you have a long audience retention of 80% or whatsoever, like there are some guitarists out there, they uploaded blurry videos, so they're not even in focus, and they have over 1 million views, but then the video has such a high, well-performing metrics, then even these videos can work, But of course, if these videos had been optimized and launched in a proper way, they would have probably even tripled their results and all that stuff. But there are different metrics and measures,
Yeah, and you also mentioned having a larger release plan to support the launch of your music, right? You mentioned mailing lists, you mentioned a few other things, which leads me to ask, what's the goal of all of these views, right? Because we all know that, yes, you can get paid from YouTube. YouTube does have a, the profit sharing on their ads with the creators, but there's probably more to monetization than just the YouTube ad revenue.
Oh my God.
So what's the thing that happens after you get the views?
Yeah, so never ever rely on the revenue you get from YouTube. Like, unless you're Mr. Beast or really have millions of subscribers, especially in the music space, it's not that high because we don't have big brands spending a lot of advertising dollars for ads that are placed in front of our videos. So if you have a channel with iPhone unboxing videos, then you will have big brands advertising on your videos. You will make more money, or if you're a makeup artist or whatsoever. But in the music space, usually we don't have these big car brands or makeup brands or whatsoever. So yeah, it's not worth it. It's nice, but it's not worth it. Like with Spotify, I mean, you can earn a decent income with Spotify, but it's still, the real money is made if you get people on your own email list. So get them in your own system. This is where you really make money. You need to nurture them over there, you know, see who is my audience, what do they really want from me, you know, what, and then find a product or service that you can offer to your fans. Because one of the biggest mistakes of independent artists is to just do what the big stars do, and that's sell merch or whatsoever. But maybe your target audience is not buying merch, you know? So just because it works for Taylor Swift doesn't mean it works for you. Maybe you're a 50 or 60-year-old jazz artist, so I doubt that your people will wear caps or shirts with your name on it, you know? It's always about who is your audience and what does your audience want to have. So it's really important to know your audience, do the market research, and then you will find products and services or experiences that you can offer to your audience. So that's really key. For example, early on, I noticed that I have a lot of guitarists that like my music. And of course, then I started selling my tabs. You know, I wrote a guitar book, created an online guitar academy, online fingerstyle guitar academy for these people. And so this is how you then monetize, or it might be a backstage experience, or it might be a membership platform for your fans. But really, it depends really on your audience. So know your audience, and then you will learn what you can offer to them.
Yeah, it could be all of the above, right? At the end of the day, those fans were inspired by what you did, right? Inspired by your playing, and that can lead into many directions. And
yes,
if you have your mailing list, if you have your fan base, and you have the communication set up so that you can launch things to them, right? Or at least communicate what you'd like to provide for them, that's a whole different monetization world compared to just Spotify revenue and YouTube ad revenue. Well, what would you say to an artist who's like, well, I don't want to set any of that up. Like, I just want to be like Russ, or like, you know, those, you know, Spotify artists that are making like $10,000 a month from Spotify royalties. Is that possible, or is that more of the exception, right? What would you say to an artist who's like, I don't want to grow my mailing list. I kind of just want to be like, you know, what the TikTokers tell me that they're making, and, you know, those Spotify famous people who have like 5 million monthly listeners and make all their money from Spotify. Sounds like a nice life. But
absolutely,
is that
absolutely.
attainable?
No, definitely. I mean, that's the dream of all artists out there. But you, of course, in a way, you have to be realistic. And by the way, if you're making 10K per month from your streams, you should be making at least 50K per month as an artist in general, because then you have a huge fan base and you're missing out big time if you just rely on Spotify. So then you have a really like a blind spot, because the bigger your fan base, the better you can monetize. And even big artists, like even Metallica, teach on a masterclass how to form a band. I mean, Drake, Usher, Beyonce, they all have makeup lines, whiskeys, their own drinks, whatsoever. It's like, it's business. Okay, so but you like, if you want to make money, and you like, there are ways to monetize your fan base. Of course, it's totally fine to say, hey, I don't care about money, I just want to make money from streams. That's fine as well. But be like, it's a minority of musicians that can make a living just from streams. It's possible, but for example, we have artists who have over 100,000 fans, making less than an artist with like 5,000 or 6,000 fans who sell services and products. Okay, if it's just about monetization, you don't even need a huge or a large fan base. You can monetize much earlier. If you say, hey, I don't want to do this, I don't want to offer anything, I just want to live from streams or royalties or whatever, that's totally fine. But then I would really focus. It's still like, it's like a small percentage of artists that, like, is the same with sync deals, you know, from 100 artists, maybe 1 or 2 get it. 98% will kind of not get anything out of it. And then I would, of course, focus more on growing my fan base. So then it's even more important to get a huge fan base on YouTube, get them on your Spotify profile, you know, or in your Spotify world, run ads and all that stuff. Then I would really go all in on growing my fan base, content marketing, upload regularly, and all that stuff. Then if your music is great, of course, you can go pretty far with that. But once again, if you make 5 or 10 grand just from streams, you could be easily making much, much more if you would focus on selling or offering anything, or having a membership site for your fans where you take them backstage with you. Or, I mean, there's even an artist, they sell 8 backstage tickets for 8 grand before they even play the tour. And then it's like, for example, a 2-week tour. And so they take 10 people with them, they have dinner with them, they take them with them in the tour bus, they get the entire tour experience, pay 8 grand, and this jazz band makes 80 grand before they even played a single note. So, it's a big chunk of revenue. So if you monetize in a smart way, you can earn a lot of money. If you don't want to do it, that's totally fine. But then I would really go all in to on growth strategies to get as many views and streams as possible.
Yeah, I like the way you put that as like a revenue blind spot, because I think it's okay to have that goal of, I just want to make my money from streams.
Yeah.
I don't want to own my own audience with the mailing list. I think it's really true that even A-list artists that start their own makeup line or their whiskey brand, right? They're doing the same thing that an email list does, except they're paying a PR company to manage it for them, right? I mean, we could pay a PR company too if we want to spend, 5-10 grand a month on a team, right? So an email list is almost like the independent replacement for that communication channel, right? Or the distribution of ideas that we want to get out there, right? For our ideas or products, our whiskey line, our makeup line, whatever that is, right? And so even the A-list artists are not missing this blind spot. But if on a personal level, if you just want to make money from streams only, I guess that's fine. Just understand that's the minority of the revenue possibilities. I really like the way that you put that. We should switch to Q&A. Sure. I want to make sure in the last 10 minutes we have some time for our viewers to type in some questions. I saw a few questions pop in earlier. So this is your time now. If you do have a question about monetization, about products, about getting views on YouTube, about content marketing, about releasing music videos, optimizing your music videos, any of that, Tobias is the guy. So drop your questions in the chat right now. First question is from Mandem. How's it going? He's asking, if you post the same vertical piece of content on all 3 platforms, TikTok, Shorts, and Reels, are the platforms somehow notified of that? Is there a watermark ID, audio stamps on the videos? This is a rumor I've heard too. Do you know anything about this?
To be honest, I don't know anything about this. So if you have your original content and you upload that on Instagram Reels, on TikTok or YouTube Shorts, and you're not using the video you posted on TikTok with a TikTok watermark on YouTube, and then as far as I know, you should be fine, because we have artists who do it. But it's recommended to do always some kind of, like customization. So maybe you add a different sticker or a heading or a headline or something like this. So that's something I would try, because in the end, I don't know, but tech is getting smarter and smarter, AI and all that stuff. We don't know, but I have no reliable sources or information regarding that right now.
Yeah, what I've heard is that it's better to upload 3 separate exports from your editor. However, like you said, with AI, audio watermarking, even if there's like 3 different original files, if the audio is identical, it's going to be caught as these platforms get better and better. So honestly, I don't think they're penalizing creators. I bet you Instagram hates that TikTok watermark though. I bet you Instagram is like, you know what? this content's no good because of that TikTok. So I wouldn't do that. But I think you're going to be okay, Mandem, if you just export 3 different versions. I would say it's not worth wasting your time creating 3 unique edits for just regular content. Everyone's cross-posting, right? Everyone's cross-posting. So I wouldn't worry about it. Follow-up question. He's asking, does it matter if you use a social media manager? I'm assuming that's what SMM. Yeah. Does it matter if you use social media manager posting software like a scheduler, or should you post them manually for optimal organic optimization? This is a great question.
Good question as well. So we recommend you usually, especially if you have big launches, to do it manually. But again, I don't have any exact data. We have artists who use social media like posting, like Buffer, or all the features out there, and it works just fine. But if you go back to your last question, I think if you use a tool like this, you give even more hints away that it's kind of automated. And we heard as well some stuff that you don't get the same kind of engagement. I personally don't have infos about that because I usually just upload and prefer to upload organically. Unless you really post often, then you can use like the social media manager software like this. Do you know anything about that, Ryan?
Yeah, honestly, I would just recommend posting from your phone, because what I've discovered is that the more organic the content looks, as far as reels, shorts, TikToks, right? Filming it on your phone, editing it on your phone, uploading it from your phone, that's probably the best workflow, but that also makes it look the most organic rather than exporting from your video editor, loading that up in Buffer or later, or these, social schedulers. That would be better suited. Editing on your computer would be better suited for YouTube anyways, and YouTube has its own scheduler. So I'm not trying to dog these companies. I mean, I've used them before, but I think that, in today's day and age, when we want, our content to look like it's coming directly from the creator, it looks real time, it looks organic, it looks like a peek into the creative process, I would just do it all from the phone, do rough jump cuts, just like what you were saying earlier. That's what I would say. And I have a question too, personally. How would you approach your thumbnails? And is that something that you would do on desktop, on Canva, or on Photoshop? Or do you do that from your phone? Do you take just like a screenshot of like a part of the video? Like, how do you approach YouTube thumbnails as an artist?
Yes. So never ever, never ever use the thumbnails YouTube suggests or gives to you. It's like always, like what I do is I take the original video in the best possible quality. I scroll through it, search for between 5 to 10 great scenes, make a screenshot. Personally, I still love Keynote. I put it in there, or you can use Photoshop or Canva. Definitely make the colors pop, the exposure, pull it up, because in the end, you need to understand that your thumbnail will be that tiny and it's competing with 10 or 20 other videos. So it needs to pop out there. So you can't oversaturate it. The colors need to pop. And we did some split tests, like I said, and usually close up work better than, for example, wide shots or something like this. So, but you want to have a couple of thumbnails, make the colors pop, expose them and all that stuff. And then what we do is we make a split test campaign on Facebook. If it's an important launch, you don't have to do it for all videos that you post. And then we measure the click-through rate and see, hey, which is the winning thumbnail. And then we use the winning thumbnail and upload that in YouTube, and then launch the video pretty much.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's really great. And do you use like a traffic campaign in Facebook to measure the clicks, or is it some other?
It's just like a basic, because we just want to measure the clicks on it, or we just want to show it to people and see the reaction, because that's the same what happens on YouTube. It's random people scrolling, and you just want to see, hey, how are they basically how are they performing in the real life. So it's just like a $20 or $10 or whatsoever, and then you will pretty quickly see which thumbnails have the highest click-through rate, and then take the winner, because it will be there on YouTube for years to come, and then it's really worth the small investment up front.
Yeah, it's definitely worth the $10. And where do you send them? Because the video isn't out yet. Do you just send them to your website? I'm sure some people are wondering.
It's basically, you can do whatever you want. So for me, it's like just on my channel, for example, sometimes we have a premiere, usually when you have a big, we use this premiere. So we have a link to the video, and then you can use it, or a landing page where your video premiere is embedded, and people can, what you call it, like tick the bell so they get notified when it launches, or just one of your best performing videos, because this is one of the strategy I recommend anyways. Don't just focus on releasing your newest release, focus on your best performing songs, even if they are 5 or 10 years old, because there are still billions of people around the world who haven't heard it yet. So focus on promoting that, and then you can send these people to your best performing video, and then they are likely to subscribe to your channel or whatsoever. But in this case, it's just like my goal is not to get the lead or to get the people. It's really just to get the click-through rate. That's pretty much the main goal. But of course, the most, you could like include a landing page, collect the address, or maybe an offer, but don't overcomplicate it. So in my case, it's just like, it doesn't matter where you send them. It's just about seeing which thumbnail has the best click-through rate.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And while last chance, by the way, we're up against the clock here, so last chance to get your questions in. I know a few people are just tuning in. You're gonna have to watch the replay. Unfortunately, we talked about a lot of great stuff about content creation, the YouTube algorithm, how to optimize your videos. I was wondering, when you talk about optimization, and you mentioned click-through rate, you mentioned watch time, and you mentioned SEO. What would you say is the most important metric in terms of like the success of the video? If there was one thing that our viewers can take away and apply today on their music videos, or even if they wanted to re-upload some of their music videos and give it maybe like a second wind, like a second chance, what's the one thing that's going to give them the best bang for buck?
It's like the most important thing is your video, because the number one ranking signal is the total watch time. So if your video itself is not performing well and people drop off or out of your video after like watching 30 or 40 seconds, like you can optimize whatever you want, you will not have success on YouTube, because your music video is not good. Like people are leaving, are tuning out. So this is the key. So if your content is not performing well, like you can optimize as much, like you can get a little edge, but it's still like, if you don't have a good video, like it won't matter that much. So that's key number one. And then it's about really the click-through rate, because even if the title is, or the thumbnail, or let's say even if your video is amazing, but people are just not clicking on it because all the cat videos are getting the views and not you, because your thumbnail is just not creative, it's dull, it's like the title is weird, I don't click on it, I'm missing out on the best video ever. And so still you're missing out on a lot of watch time. So it's really important then to focus on the thumbnail and the title, especially the first words in the title, because that's, and especially when people check it on mobile, often the title is cut off. So it's really important to kind of catch them with, and when it comes to SEO, I mean, on YouTube, SEO is not as important, because people are, for musicians, because people are not actively searching for I don't know, heavy metal stuff or fingerstyle. They usually like search for something. You won't be as easily discovered over there. So it's more about the recommendation engine, so that YouTube is actively promoting your music to people, in my case, for example, who like fingerstyle guitar. Okay, so this is how you get this discovered. But these are the key metrics. So first of all, have a good video with a good audience retention and a good watch time, and ideally good engagement. So comments, likes, saves, shares, and all that stuff. And then it's, of course, the thumbnail and basically the click-through rate, so thumbnail and title, and then some more advanced strategies with the text and all that stuff. But in a nutshell, that's for the most important stuff.
Yeah. So you're saying the video itself is number one because the most important metric is watch time. David Sean Cook had a question. Can you be successful with lyric videos? Do you think lyric videos would get you that watch time?
Out of like our experience is that lyric videos always perform worse than like natural videos whatsoever. Even one important thing here is like people always think like you need a fancy camera, you know, and different cuts and all that stuff. The thing is, often phone videos outperform a lot of the fancy produced videos because they create a disconnect. Like big artists get away with it, but if you're, let's say, a newcomer, just put up your phone, just record you, maybe busk in the streets, record the reactions. So amateur style videos are really performing really well. So all my videos that I shot myself at home on my own, they racked up millions of views. All the time when I went into a big studio with a fancy production, they were never as successful. So that's a really interesting thing. And lyric videos, like for some artists, it works, especially when you're, for example, more in, for example, rap, hip hop, where you have like, let's say, where people are really interested in the lyrics. But with our artists, and often when we tested it, lyric videos were kind of, let's say you can use it as a filler or as a backup. Let's say you upload the original song and then you upload another video with a lyric video or something like this, or behind the scenes, because you should always have different kind of content, not just your main video. But yeah, in a nutshell, they are usually not as successful, but they can be successful depending on your audience and niche. So there are successful music videos, but from our tests, not that much, or it was harder to be successful with lyric videos.
Yeah. And it seems to me it comes down to the data at the end of the day. You're saying like some genres, some songs can be successful with a lyric video, but it really comes down to that watch time. It comes down to the real human reaction to your song and to your video. And that can't necessarily be predicted, but it can be tested, like you said, right?
Yeah.
So you can, what I would suggest, David, is follow Tobias's advice of doing a natural performance, and doesn't have to be fancy. You could just use your phone. Just do a performance of your song. Or I'm assuming you play guitar, but it might be keys. I don't know, right? And you can test that with your lyric video side by side. And the numbers will show you what your audience prefers more. And really what YouTube's going to do is it's going to reward the video that gets the better signal, the better engagement signal. So this has been so good, Tobias. Thank you so much for being with us today. Before we go, I would love to let our viewers know how they can find you online, how they could get in touch with you if they want to learn more and watch your stuff. Let them know the next steps so that they can just leave today knowing exactly where to go to find you.
Yeah, you can just hit me up on Instagram. It's my weird German name, Tobias Rauscher, like you see over here. So it's basically my handle over there. And as well on YouTube, you can check out my channel over there, my guitar playing. And if you're interested in learning a little bit about YouTube strategies or music marketing, check out FanbasePRO.com. Basically, these are the ways where we can get in touch and connect.
Amazing. That is dropped in the chat. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and click that right now. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Why don't you drop in the chat just a quick thank you for Tobias for being here, for sharing his expertise, his advice and knowledge. It's so good to have you, Tobias. Thanks for being a friend of the channel, friend of the Indie Music Academy. If you're watching today and you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel so you never miss a future interview like this or future content, music marketing tips and strategies for music copyright, registration, royalties, triggering the Spotify algorithm, triggering the social media algorithm. We cover all of that on this channel. So go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss a future video. Also hit that like button because, as we mentioned, we're on YouTube right now, and we want to send positive engagement signals to the YouTube algorithm. If you click the like button, what you're doing is you're telling YouTube that this video is valuable for independent musicians, and you are helping other creatives just like you by having this video show up in their homepage. So go ahead and send that positive engagement signal to YouTube if you enjoyed this stream, if this was valuable to you in any way. This is totally free, by the way. And this is how you can help us continue to create content for you and to get this video out there for more independent artists just like yourself. So we really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Tobias, for being here today. Thank you for being a wonderful viewer, and I'll see you guys in a future stream on the channel. Take care. Best of luck with your music, and I'll see you soon.